Hey, it's David with Iowa Tonight, and we are here at the Chauncey with Ella of Midwest Model Agency on Iowa Tonight. Hey, it's David with Iowa Tonight, and we are here with Chris at the Kavanaugh Art Gallery in Valley Junction in West Des Moines. Hey, it's David with Iowa Tonight, and today we're in Valley Junction at Iowa Made.
Brought to you by Midwest Model Agency.
Hey, we're back at the Chauncey with Ella Scott. And Ella, I found out you have a talent. So I want to find out about it. And then if you have the time to send me a couple of the images of this. So tell me, what is your talent?
I love writing poetry books and occasionally drawing like the covers for them, which I enjoy doing. And
You draw the covers?
yeah.
Cool.
And I put
what
them
kind
on
of
Amazon.
what kind of media do you use?
It's kind of just whatever's in my head at the moment.
Is it like pencil or pen or?
I
paint?
have an app on my computer that I use to like kind of draw it, and then it's easier to put on the front of the cover, which is nice.
So you're using your phone or like a tablet?
It's like a whiteboard app on my computer, which is really basic, but it like works for the
Oh,
what I need
cool,
it to do.
cool. And didn't you say, now that I'm recalling what you were saying about this, where can you find these poetry books?
Amazon.
So you sell them on Amazon?
Yes.
How many books have you got?
I have 3, and I'm almost done with the 4th one. I just got my like copy back so I can review it.
Would
before
you
it's
like me
done.
to put a link to that
Oh,
below
yeah.
in the video?
Yeah.
So people can order that book? Okay, so you got 3 books. When did you start doing this?
I started writing the first book in like 2021, but I never published it until probably almost a year ago now that I published the first one. And it was kind of like over the course of like a year and a half that I wrote the first one, and then the other ones came a lot quicker. And
Cool.
yeah.
Why do you enjoy writing poetry?
It started as kind of like a therapeutic thing for me, and kind of then, I mean, it still is, but it started with like, going through stuff and then working my way out of it, and that's kind of like the progression of.
So are there any pieces of your life in there, or is it all fiction?
Oh, it's all pieces of like what happened with my life and like how I dealt with it.
So if I'm reading this book, I'm imagining Ella going through this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like 2021 me.
So it's kind of personal.
Yeah, it is very personal.
And have you gotten any feedback?
Yeah, I've talked to a couple different people about it, and I mean, my parents think it's kind of sad because but obviously like that was just stuff I had went through before, and then they get a little happier towards the last one now, but the first one definitely would be a little more sad than the other one.
So I understand you're a student. Are you doing anything with writing in college?
No, everyone tells me I should not throw it away, but I don't know. It's like I don't want to turn it into work for myself. Because if it's work, I'm not going to want to do it anymore. And it's just something I like to do on the side. Like, if I have something on my head, I just write it down and turn it into something later.
That's, I
But
totally
if I
get
turn
that.
it into work, I'm not going to enjoy it anymore.
You know,
And
as
it
I
takes
talk
away.
to creators, I hear that a lot is, this isn't work for me, this is play. And the moment it becomes work, then it wouldn't be fun anymore.
Yeah, like writing poetry I took a writing class last semester. Couldn't come up with anything. It would be the same like writing block if it's something I have to do.
So what's the title of the first one?
It's I Wish I Said Goodbye, which is, it sounds kind of sad.
Oh,
That one is kind of sad, but.
That sounds sad.
Yeah, but it's
Okay.
a little collection of like poems.
And have you
that I've
sold
written.
any on Amazon?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is kind of a dumb question, and I ask this of everybody. What's the farthest you've shipped that you know of that a book has shipped? Any idea?
So I can see like which Amazon website, like .com, .uk, all those kind of things. There was a couple in France. That's all I know.
Someone
and
in
I
France.
don't know how they found it. Like it's not
Yeah.
a well-known thing. So I'm not sure how it got there, but it did.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was
All
like
right.
2 copies, and I was like, oh, nice.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. And this is David and Ella with Midwest Model Agency and Iowa Tonight. And thanks for watching. Have a great Iowa Tonight. And cut. Okay, we are here at Iowa Made. And when I saw the sign Iowa Made, I was immediately encouraged to walk in and ask you what that means, because it's pretty obvious what it is. So you go ahead and tell me all about it.
Yeah, so we're an all Iowa handmade store. We feature about 30 different artists in here that create their items. We've got local vendors from right here in central Iowa all the way to several hours away, but they have to be in Iowa and has to be handmade to be part of the store.
That was my first question. Is everybody, all the artists in Iowa?
They are. They have to live in Iowa to be in the store.
They can leave, but they have to come
Yes.
back. Now, I saw some things I thought that caught my eye, so I'll talk to you about that later. You know what I'm after. But tell me, again, how did this happen, and how did you end up here? And the other thing I want to ask, if I can remember, is what's one of your favorite artists?
Okay. So we actually started about 6 years ago, and we opened up at Valley West Mall. We started as a holiday store. We just thought we'd try it for 3 months, kind of during the holiday time, see how it would go. It was a success, so we decided just to go ahead and stay open. So at that time, we were called Homespun Elegance. And we, as the mall kind of declined, we decided to look for a new location. And the spot down here in Valley Junction opened up, so we took it. And then we just rebranded to Iowa Made Market just recently.
That is so cool.
So, yeah.
I remember seeing your place in the mall, and so when I saw this place, I was pretty excited. So just tell me about one or two of your favorite artists that have something on display here.
Oh my gosh, there's so many that are my favorite. Probably my favorite are the sewing people, just because I'm not a sewer, and I think that just takes a lot of time.
I agree.
A lot of, the cost of the materials, and then the time to cut patterns and sew and all that kind of stuff. So we have lots of sewing artists in here. So definitely, I think that's probably one of my favorite things.
I'm seeing everything. I'm seeing
Yeah.
blankets and dresses and kids' clothes and pillows, and just some. There's a dog. There's a stuffed pink dog back there.
Yep, that's another sewing project. So those probably are some of my favorite things to see kind of come in.
These are so professional. They look so professional. I can't imagine what it took to make that fox-skinned fox. There's a fox, a blue fox. I'm going to take a camera on it that has foxes on its skin, and so that is a fox with foxes, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And
Yeah.
fox ears. Yeah. That's pretty amazing. And so, here's my question for you. I know you make things, but if there was one thing you could make that you can't get to or don't have the means to do it, is there something you would make that you've always wanted to make?
Right now, I've been doing a lot of pinning on Pinterest. I love vintage and old stuff, and I love repurposing. So one thing I've seen that I would like to learn to make is they take vintage dishes and cut them into like small shapes and pieces, and then turn them into jewelry. And so I've been fascinated by that. I want to learn how to do that, and that's something my goal for this year is to learn how to turn vintage dishes, plates, teacups, those kinds of things into pieces of jewelry that people can wear.
That sounds really difficult because you're talking about ceramic and pottery and cutting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be really prohibitive for me. That'd be a mess too. Okay, so one of the things that caught my eye are the handbags.
Yes.
Because since I work with Midwest Model Agency, we have a client who makes handbags, and they're handmade in the United States, and so I have to assume, of course, they're made here in Iowa.
Yep.
And I can't imagine that you don't get special orders for things for a lot of your artists.
We do actually get quite a few custom orders. So most of our vendors in here will take a custom order. If there's something that someone likes the style of, but they just don't care for the color or maybe the saying on it, then most of the vendors will custom order it however they want.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, yep.
So if you're looking for something beautiful and original, unique, and made right here by a talented individual, you're not going to believe this place. Come into Iowa Made. And thanks for the interview, and thanks for joining us on Iowa Tonight. Okay, we are back here with Chris at the Kavanaugh Art Gallery, and I've been here quite a few times. All right, Chris?
Yeah.
And I just love to see, of course, you got the Dr. Seuss stuff in the front, which blows my mind. But there is so much in here and so many stories to tell. But if you could, tell me how this place got started, how long it's been around, and then I've got some more questions for you.
Sure. Okay, we've been on Fifth Street for almost 40 years, and it started as a retirement business for Dan Kavanaugh. He was going to retire, and at the beginning, his wife worked here, and we were across the street, and then he retired from his first business and started working here. He's now turned 91, and he still comes in 6 days a week.
Fit as a fiddle.
Yeah. I mean,
How long have you been here now?
I've been here about 25 years ago. They asked me to come out to help for a little bit. I was living in Iowa City, and they said, hey, can you just come and help us out? We had some problems with our manager. He had a stroke. Can you just come and just help out for a little bit? And so I'm still here.
Wow.
So.
That is cool. Now, I know part of the reason I love this place is when I was a kid, I was an artist. I painted. I used acrylics. I used mixed media, pencils, pens. I didn't really use oils. But so what I want to know is, there's so much here. Is there anything here right now that's on display that you particularly have a fondness for?
You know, it's really interesting because there are things that like grow on you. You know, you might see it in a different light, like actual different light, like it might be in a different spot, and so the colors around it change, and so how it looks changes, and it happens to me all the time that pieces that have been here for a while, all of a sudden become new, and I don't know, art's weird like that, you know,
Oh, yeah.
you can see a lot in very little, like.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like you can look at a piece, I know what you mean. You look at a piece, you walk by it, and then all of a sudden you take a couple seconds longer. It's like, wait a minute, I didn't notice that before.
Exactly.
That blows my mind when that happens.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the farthest you have shipped a painting in the United States or farther?
Okay, well, distance-wise, I used to have a customer in Singapore who would buy these pieces from an Israeli artist. And so we'd get the pieces here, and then I'd photograph them, put them online, and then I'd end up shipping them to Singapore. That was kind of interesting. But really the best one is we shipped some pieces to St. Andrew's Golf Course in Scotland. We have
Really?
an artist that did these sculptures, Corinne Hartley, did these like life-size sculptures of kids golfing. And there was a set of 4.
Wow.
And we had to ship those to St. Andrew's Golf Course in Scotland, the like origin of golf, you know, the
Wow.
first golf course. They bought this artist from us. They bought her work from us, and I don't know, but we had to like get the boxes, like the crates they shipped in remade by EU standards.
Sure.
Because
sure.
you can't just ship a regular box, you know,
No.
to Europe. But that's probably, and that, you know, that was a little while ago, but
I
still,
bet the shipping on that was quite expensive.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah. Do you remember how much you insured those things for?
Well, they were insured for $40,000. You know, because they were.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
I once shipped some computers that were $20,000 and they showed up smashed. Okay, so I know you've got a lot of stories of customers. Can you think of somebody unique or famous to you or anyone else that you found particularly cool that walked in that door?
Okay, well, he didn't come in the door, but his wife did. I don't know, maybe just, okay, Ronald D. Moore. If you know who that is, then you know who it is. If you don't, then you don't. He's a television producer, worked on Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Battlestar Galactica, really.
Nice.
And he was really into political art. And I used to have a connection I still do have a connection in Ukraine, but I got a lot of Soviet pieces of art, like
Wow.
Soviet, like Octoberist Revolution pieces. And I had a big one of the by this famous, well, anyway, it was a really beautiful piece of some people heroically holding a flag up, you know, a red flag up above the burning, you know, somewhere, for the Octoberist Revolution. And it actually wasn't that old. It was done in the 1950s, but it was a beautiful piece. And so Ronald D. Moore's wife bought it for him as a gift. And so I had to.
Have you ever run into a fake?
Oh, yeah. Bunch of.
I'm talking
yes.
about a fake painting.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
And did it burn you or did it burn the customer?
It burned the customer, really. Well, it burned their grandfather.
Wow.
Okay, there was a famous sculptor, Charles Russell. And he did, like, if you're familiar with, like, Remington bronzes, Russell's are kind of similar. And Russell was also a painter and drawer, and he did, lithographs. And this person had some Russell drawings. And the signature was a little different than signatures I'd seen. And I did some research on it and found out that Russell's son had been arrested for forgery and had sold a bunch of drawings that weren't his father's, that he had just copied. And he got in big trouble because he sold 6 letters from Abraham Lincoln to his father that he had copied, Lincoln's signature and everything on. And that's how I found out, was because of the signature thing. And then I found out that signature, the Russell signature that was supposed to be real, wasn't. And so the customer was really kind of upset about that.
Goodness. Yeah, that's not good.
That their grandfather had been ripped off by this artist's son.
Yeah. Okay. So I know you have a lot of things that come in and out.
Yep.
Is there anything like right now you're waiting to get here for a customer? Something that's pretty cool.
Yes, there's a new Dr. Seuss piece. It's a 3D version of this indistinct cat smoking cigar. It's a new. That was the first release on the Secret Art of Dr. Seuss, the indistinct cat with cigar. And so they did a 3D version of it, and it's an actual sculpture. It looks so cool, but they're behind schedule, and so the person ordered it in
Is that going to be
December.
here for any length of time before it goes, or is it coming and going?
Okay, I'm going to get it in here, take a few pictures of it, maybe try to get some people to come in and see it on the day that it's here, and then forward it to the customer. I'm not going to let it sit around, but I will, when I get the tracking number and know, okay, it's going to be here Tuesday, then I'll get some people to come in that day.
Okay, so how can our viewers see your photos online?
Well, I'll post them to our Instagram page and to our Facebook page, and I'm not sure if I'm going to put them on our website, but definitely to Instagram and Facebook of that piece of the indistinct cat with cigar sculpture when it comes in.
Wow, I'm excited about that. I remember when I first walked in here and I saw the Dr. Seuss, I about flipped out. I used to read Dr. Seuss to my kid, and I have my own book called Billy Bogglesworth and the Road to Muffinville and Other Stories, which is basically I'm copying Dr. Seuss's style and as much as I could. I mean, I didn't sit there and try to look like Dr. Seuss, but I was definitely inspired by Dr. Seuss. Okay, this is David with Iowa Tonight, and check down below on the video for the links. And thanks, Chris. And you all have an excellent Iowa Tonight. And cut.
Brought to you by Midwest Model Agency. Midwest Model Studios.